awards to some very important activists from around the New Jersey area. And I'm going to say a little bit about each one. We're a little strapped for time, but during Caleb's keynote presentation, he'll be sure to expand and heap praise on them, so don't worry about that. We're going to present is to somebody who did something that is very, very brave. Because they acknowledged that in this country, we do not have two parties. And when you run for office in this country, especially on a third-party ticket, you get a lot of crap from a lot of people. They'll say a bunch of nasty things about you. They'll smear your identity. And it was so brave of her to stand up and say, enough is enough. We need a candidate who fights for working people. And this person did that. That is Christina Khalil, a Green Party candidate for New Jersey. I'd like to invite her up to please accept her award. Yeah.
All right. You have the award for her?
I do, yes.
All right. Oh, here it is.
Thank you.
Yes!
I prepared a little speech. Is it okay if I read it?
Where is yours?
Okay. Hello, everybody. So thank you so much for this honor. Running for U.S. Senate in New Jersey was one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences in my life. I learned lessons that will carry with me forever, like do not ever work two jobs while campaigning. The stress and the importance of surrounding yourself with authentic and very supportive people. I began this journey because I saw firsthand how poor policies are worsening mental health across our communities. As a therapist and social worker, I also grew up, I'm a first-generation foster survivor. I watched people struggle under the systems that were supposed to protect them. And I realized that healing individuals isn't enough if the policies themselves are causing harm. That realization is what pushed me to step into the political arena. So I traveled across the state, working two jobs, meeting so many incredible people, putting boots on the ground, and challenging myself in ways I never thought possible. Despite these challenges, I became the top independent candidate in the state of New Jersey, raising over $13,000 in grassroots donation, and the first to break the $5,000 mark in Green Party, and proving that with my own determination, I could break through even the toughest systems. I'm very also proud to say that I broke the 1% threshold, and I earned over 45,000 votes, which is one of the highest votes total ever for a Green Party U.S. Senate candidate in the state of New Jersey. That achievement shows what is possible when you refuse to let obstacles stop you and you keep pushing forward. It also shows that my opponents needed millions of dollars from mega donors and dark money to beat me. Without that funding, I would have easily beaten them as well. Throughout this journey, I met people across the political spectrum, those who identified as conservatives and on the right, as well as liberals and Democrats. Many of them stepped outside the party lines to vote for me because they believed in integrity, accountability, and putting people before politics. I also built meaningful connections with local elected officials, both Dems and Republicans, who supported me and voted for me as well. That showed me that when you lead with authenticity and purpose, people are willing to look beyond basic labels. I also want to note on a separate occasion I had with the Democratic Party chair, because I did start as a Dem, they told me that they would not support me because it would upset Menendez, who was charged twice federally? Yeah, and that he covered up a murder on top of it. They wanted him back in office. So they told me they wouldn't support me because it would upset Menendez, and that they valued the friendship over accountability. I still have that text message saved. That made it clear that this race was about challenging the system, and I was ready for that challenge. I also have to give a few shout outs. I want to thank my good friend and my guardian angel, Deshonda. I remember telling her I wanted to run, and she said, "Why not? You deserve to be there." And that was all I needed to hear to begin my mission. I also want to thank my partner, Tyrell, who was my boulder throughout this entire journey. We communicated, worked together, and kept each other motivated, and we grew so much during this campaign journey. Toward the end of this journey, I became increasingly concerned about something we are witnessing across this country and just globally as well, disenfranchised grief. And I'm a social worker and therapist, so I work with this a lot. So disenfranchised grief is grief that is not allowed to be acknowledged, validated, or allowed to be publicly expressed. It is grief that society tells people they must carry silently. In my professional political work, I have watched the United States move toward policies that criminalize dissent, punish public mourning, and shame people for naming their losses. When a government suppresses grief, it does not create safety, it creates trauma. We are actively laying the groundwork for extreme generational trauma by refusing to allow people to speak publicly about who they lost and how they are suffering. We are seeing kids get expelled from school. We are seeing people get harmed at protests. Lisa Davis got arrested and accused. You had charges brought against you for a public protest that she didn't even organize. Yep. Oh, falsely accused. Yes. Yes. And I donate to that. Everyone should donate to her lawyer fund. This is not theoretical. We have elected failures who, in my view, have failed morally, and figures like Zoran and AOC who have publicly shamed Palestinians for publicly speaking about their loved ones who were killed. They just shamed them for protesting illegal land sales. In New Jersey, we have failures like Andy Kim, Cory Booker, and Mikey Sherrill who have remained silent about Palestinian families in our own state. These families went to Trenton, New Jersey, and I will never forget, over 1,000 family members died. They begged them to speak up, to say something, and they shut them out and said, do not talk about this, and ignored them. They were forced to remain silent. Instead of being supported, these families have been marginalized and punished for speaking publicly about their pain. That silence matters. When leaders refuse to acknowledge grief, they reinforce a system that dehumanizes loss and teaches future generations that their suffering must be hidden to be acceptable. To my family, friends, and supporters, thank you for believing in me and backing my campaign. I know how important it is to support new voices and candidates who truly fight for the people, not party loyalty. I also know that without a strong, committed base, the two-party system will continue to dominate, and the injustices around the world, from Palestine to Congo to Sudan, will continue unchecked. I may have grown up in foster care and started with nothing, but I fought hard, and I will continue to fight because there is nowhere I don't belong. And finally, I hope my journey inspires others to step up, challenge the system, and fight for a government that does not punish grief, silence truth, or abandon its people, but instead holds itself accountable and truly represents all of us. Thank you again for this recognition, and it truly means the world to me. Thank you.